I'm not selling you. I don't care if you sign the contract or not. The foundation of my emotions when I'm there, I'm educating you on your house.
So I think there's a huge amount of money that's being left on the table when guys are going out to these jobs. They're bidding at a $30,000, $60,000 kitchen or a basement job for larger than that. The more and easier ways you can get somebody to say yes, the better.
Just get ready. Just get ready. Yeah, I'll take care of you from A to Z. Reassure them that that's a great idea. Keep the momentum up. Keep the energy up.
I think let's just get started now. So, August, we'll first get started with you because I think you've been live with us, I think like 8 or 9 days of the campaign. And
Right.
uh, you told me that you already closed out a large remediation job. It was like a mold damage job, right? But
Yeah.
before we talk about that, though, I want to kind of hear because you were like in the brokerage space before construction. Everyone kind of gets started in like everyone finds construction in different ways. For some people, it's like a family business. For some people, they were off doing one thing and then they got inspired, or however they kind of landed into it. So, like, what actually got you into construction in the first place?
Um, my the first intro as a child was my late uncle, great uncle. My uncle Sonny was a master carpenter. And my my parents were they worked for themselves, and I would spend a few summers with him and tagging along with him with various jobs throughout New York. I'm from New York, and he'd be driving around, and I wouldn't even honestly be paying attention. It's not like I took a liking to it when I was a child, and it's been something that I loved ever since. I don't have that story. I was just there, and my
You just
mom
kind
thought it
of
was
grew up
just,
with it, right? Like
yeah,
a lot of guys.
my mom just thought it was a good idea that I ride around with my Uncle Sonny, and and we did that, from time to time, and then I saw it when he did our house and the kitchen remodel he did, but it still didn't gravitate. I didn't gravitate towards it. My introduction really into it was through financing. I worked for Global Home Loans and Finance in Concord Bank on 2 Rector in downtown Wall Street area. So I was selling loans.
So you're a loan
Um,
officer, right? And
yeah,
anyone that knows that industry, I mean, you got to hammer the phone. Like
yeah,
you're
yeah,
basically like it's like wholesale real estate, right? You just there's certain industries out there where you just are on the phone all day long.
yeah.
So, and then when did you kind of get into construction more seriously and take it more full time?
The crash of '08.
Okay.
Yeah, when the crash of the mortgage industry happened, I had to think fast and go on my old tool belt. And started off just doing regular handyman jobs and things of that nature. And I was a sub for a couple of entities and some years. Um, and I worked as a sub. I didn't even start my own LLC until about 4 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, to where I just got frustrated with how they ran things and how they did things. And I just say, what, I know enough of this industry. I know enough. Because when I started as a sub, I was doing fire restoration. And that's where, if you
You
know
learn a lot
fire
doing that, right?
restoration, it's a little bit, huh?
You probably learned a lot doing that, right? So you kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I learned a bit of everything from the HVAC ducts to the blockers that need to be inside the returns. I learned a little bit of everything. So it's a great place to learn is fire restoration because you have to do a little bit of everything. And so I spent years doing that. So that was fully confident of doing my own thing. And like I said, 4 years straight uh, in this company. Yeah, we were evaluated at a $2.8 million company. And it all came from just believing in yourself and going forward, um, and really having the grit to figure things out. And
so I
just
think like when
that's
you
the truth.
found us in the first place, which was literally like a week and a half ago, I
Yeah,
think you are at a stage of growth which a lot of contractors are at, which is they can. I think most contractors can essentially build a house on the ground up. They have the knowledge, they have the experience, maybe right, and I think most contractors can do almost anything, right? Especially when they're licensed as a GC.
right.
What's really going to separate you though is like how does the customer feel though when you actually do show up? And like,
Yeah.
do you think that your background in like as a loan officer like taught you anything about sales in terms of like because when you're selling construction, it's I mean it's different than selling a loan. But in the day, it's still
Yeah,
sales. So are there any principles that you took from like being a loan officer that actually helped you when you were selling construction? Because you've already,
yeah, I'm
I mean,
glad
you
you
already
asked
closed, the fact that you closed the first job in the first week tells me that you're doing something right. Everyone has their own style
that.
though. So it's not like there's one way to do it definitively, but I think everyone has things that you can pick
Right,
up from. So,
right. Yeah. Um, don't my principle and how I approach people when I meet them is honestly educational. I'm not selling you. I don't care if you sign the contract or not. That's the truth. The foundation of my emotions when I'm there, I'm educating you on your house. You called me, you have me over here. Now let me educate you on what's happening. Okay, mold remediation or water remediation or fire damage or whatever it is. I'm going to take you from the foundation principles of what's happening in your house all the way to the results, all the way to the answer and how to fix things. So it's really an educational thing. I'm giving them, that's where I come from. So if you approach them with that confidence, um, if you know how to tell a good joke and timely, use it. If you don't, it can come off really weird. So I wouldn't say joke with everybody. I did 10 years as a stand-up comic, so that kind of does help that I I can make people laugh quickly, and it breaks the ice and it brings them back. So it resets the chemistries in their brain when you allow them to let off a little dopamine.
mhm.
So I do that specifically throughout my pitch. Juggle because people buy from people they like. And so if you're likable and you're confident and you're competent, you have the deal. And if you didn't grab the deal, it wasn't the person for you. Don't go hurry up, go to the next one. But competence, confidence, and some humor. Be
Well,
likable.
likability, I think that is a pretty easy win, a pretty easy way to stand out. Because I think, I mean, me personally, I've talked to probably close to 5,000 contractors
Right,
in just like the last year, right? And me and my team do that. And there's guys, and everyone knows the contract, and there's guys that have been in this industry for 30 years. They're kind of hard-headed. They're kind of stuck in their ways, slash very arrogant, right? Showing up to the
right,
home, they expect that if they know how to do something, that the customer's going to buy from them. But newsflash, maybe 30 years ago, that's kind of how it went, right? Nobody really knew. There was no such thing as Google, no such thing as the internet or any sort of
right,
digital marketing. You either knew someone or you didn't, and if you didn't, you just went to Yellow Pages or you opened up a phone book
right,
and you maybe called two or three guys. And back then, it wasn't really. I mean, you could just shake hands over it. There was no legality. There was no formality, right? It was just kind of like if you just kind of felt right about it, I guess, okay. Hopefully
right,
they should, hopefully you're going to write this person an $8,000 check and they're going to show up next week. You don't know, right?
right.
There's no way for you to track them down. Nowadays, you need to build a lot more trust. So like, for example, this basement you went on, it was like last Thursday, right? So can you kind of go through A to Z, like how that actually went down?
The lead came through. Oh yeah, and by the way, this is a separate topic. I'm getting leads notifications through the text and that are not showing up through the email, or sometimes through the email that are not showing up through the text. Just so you know, just a technical topic.
Okay,
But
we'll look at
just
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But um, I got the text and I immediately gave him a call. I did my evaluation verbally over the phone. I listened. That's the most important thing too. I listened to what his value points are, and that's really a big thing. Listening to what they say. What's the purpose of this basement? Obviously, it's stop the water or whatever it is. It's going on. What's the purpose of this basement? Well, I'm 70 years old. I just had heart surgery, and I want to make it really comfortable for me down there as I start to get older. Gotcha. Now I know how to build. I spoke to him, and we had a great conversation. Laughed. He's a former pastor. My father's a pastor, so yeah, we had some commonality. Building commonality is really important too. And then I scheduled it through the link. I said, "Here's a link. You pick a time. You pick a date." And when you do that, it gives them some skin in the game too. Because even though it's really small in a small thing to press a button, click a time, there's some thoughtfulness and energy going into that. That is an extra layer of confirmation that they want you there. So he did that, booked the time. I showed up, and we went downstairs, and I started just building value, further building value on his levels of importance and what he's trying to get done there. But I told him, way before we do anything aesthetically pleasing, we need to stop this water and we need to kill this mold. I'm not putting up not one piece of sheetrock, regardless of what you say. I'm not making this place look beautiful when I know you have some really structural, you have some structural issues going on in the basement. And I wouldn't be a person who I am, a person of character, if I just, took your money, said, and did what you want just because that's what you said. No. So I backed him down from that, and I a la carted him to just do the mold remediation first. And we just today, just about less, we just finished the mold remediation, and now we're moving into waterproofing, and then we'll move into the last phase, which is the making what he wants, the aesthetically pleasing things, closing up the walls, giving them studs and all that stuff. But like I said, you want to build confidence and competence. Those are two things that are really important, because if you know what you're doing, you speak to them and speak to them through the steps into which they need to actually fix their place. Talk them through the proper steps and protocol, what they need to do.
Well, so to me, there were two things that actually stood out. The first thing was like you initially, when you're actually figuring out what they're looking to get done, you're not asking like what they're looking to get done with the basement. You're asking why. And
Right.
I think the question why in sales is something that a lot of people can implement. A lot of contractors are kind of fixated when they show up and say, okay, what do you want done? Tell me. All right, what do you want done in this bathroom? What do you want in this kitchen? And they're just writing it down. Okay, this is what's going to cost. They write that list. And then if you're doing it properly, you're giving that number inside the home. We'll talk about that in a second. Right. But then what happens after that point? Now you basically just have like an itemized list, but there's really no emotional feeling. Because like asking why, it's like, okay, well, let's say this basement, why do you need it fixed? I mean, in this case, it was a water damage job, and this person looks like they had a heart condition, and then you're really explaining, okay, well, this mold damage needs to be done today, and you're actually out of kindness for them, you're not hard selling them, but you're telling them why this is so important.
Right.
But I think that is kind of a big thing that people can start adding to their sales process instead of just saying like what they need done, but why. Like, why do you want to remodel your kitchen? And then they're going to go into the whole detail of, oh yeah, that would be so beautiful to have the kids run around. I want to invite my family over for Thanksgiving. If you start getting that from them, then you're
Right.
already like 1 foot in.
Right.
So you're asking why. And then I think the second thing I want you to touch more on is like, it sounds like you walked away with a check when you you didn't leave that home without a check and a signed contract.
Pretty much the next day I showed up. The next day I took 24 hours to give it some thought, and I showed up the next day, closed.
Mm-hmm. But you showed up. It sounds like face to face.
Yep, face to face. Old school is the best school. When I say that, I mean, yeah, I can send it to them digitally, but there's a different value, a different weight to it. When I print it, I give it to you in a nice folder with your name on it. I add pageantry to it, basically, is what I'm trying to say in short. I add pageantry to it. The folder is your folder with your name, a nice cover sheet with a picture of your house on the cover sheet. Everything is very well thought out, and there's levels to it. So when he sees it and he sees the folder, it's way different than clicking a link and opening up an email with numbers and words on it. It feels more official, kind of like the difference between downloading a song or buying the vinyl album. When you buy the vinyl album, it's totally different feel than downloading the song. I'm sorry. So
interesting. So you're actually going home and you're creating a physical version that they can hold in their hands that they can page through.
Yes.
And you're showing up face to face to give it to them. And then you're not. I guarantee you what August is not doing is doing all this work to put this binder together, giving it to them, and then going back to his truck and driving home. Like you're handing it to them, and then you're sitting down with them to go through it together, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
And then what? And then what?
I go through that. I go through their policy. I read their insurance policy. I let them know what they have included. So this, like I said, this is where the the fire restoration part of my brain comes in. And then the financing part puts everything together because I can tell them, listen, what you basically need is a HELOC, because basically you're going to tap into the line of credit of equity of your home, but you're not going to use the entire thing. So if you do a refinancing, you pull out a line of credit, basically an equity line of credit. That's basically you're going to touch the 100,000, let's just say, and you have to pay on the entire 100,000 instead of a HELOC. You just grab 50 or grab the same 100,000, but if you only use 50, you're only paying on the 50 that you used. So now the financing part of my brain goes into, so I can close everybody from A to Z. It's all
Well,
about
that just really plays into your loan financing. Like that's what you did for years.
yeah, yeah,
Is financing. But I think like a lot of guys don't even have financing as part of their toolkit. So I think there's a huge amount of money that's being left on the table when guys are going out to these jobs. They're bidding out a $30,000, $60,000 kitchen or a basement job for larger than that.
yeah.
And they only accept check.
That's
Like
bad.
they don't even accept credit card. Like that's really like to me that seems crazy because nowadays like people want it like the more and easier ways you can get somebody to say yes, the better.
Yep, I can get them financed. I have a financing company that can do the HELOC for them. I have a representative. And we have a co-branding link. They can touch the website, and their link and my name shows up on their company. Like, so I have all of that already thought out. Like I told you, I'll just need you to bring me people. That's I got everything else.
But again,
So
you're still your white glove contractor. You literally guide them through the whole process A to Z. They don't have to even think about it,
no,
right? They don't.
just get ready. Just get ready. Yeah, I'll take care of you from A to Z, and I'll teach you everything that's happening from the deposit, what the deposit stands for, where that takes us, the progressions of each payment, and the closeout, and what it's going to look like when it's closed. I even shoot a picture of the basement or the kitchen with my phone. I upload it on ChatGPT. I make a rendering instantly right there in front of them of what I can recreate. That's another thing I do.
So how many contractors in this call feel 100% confident offering financing? Like it's as easy to them as offering like a just taking cash or a check. Lan? Okay, see you raising your hand. So you've been learning how to use like there's different financing providers out there. I'm not saying one's better than the other. There's tons out there. You just need to use one, know how to use it
No,
properly.
I have so we offer financing and we take credit card payment, bank wire transfers, all of those things. My problem is I'll do all of this and sell the job and then they don't get approved.
Hmm. Well, credit
That's,
turndowns, yeah.
yeah, that's the only problem. I mean, I wish I had a company that would just back in the day they used to just approve everybody and then if your credit is bad, you just get a higher interest rate or whatever. But um I use Enhancify and I was gonna use Hearth, but they're pretty much the same thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, my problem is I'll sell the job, but they don't get approved, and then they say, well, I'll go to my bank or credit union, and I never hear from them again. So
Yeah,
I
and
use Renify if you don't mind. Yeah, that's who I use. RENOFI. Um,
RENOFI
FI.
Renofy.
Yeah, Renify. That's who I use. And I also have a small list of private equity guys that'll take any deal if they don't get funded. Because I come from that field, so I just that's my tier two. That's the next tier.
So August, when you say you have a some private equity guys that are approve anything, are those like hard money lenders or something like that?
Yeah, yeah,
And
basically.
they, because I reached out to one of them and they said they don't, most of them don't do home renovation. So, how are they structuring that? Is it,
It's very risky. Yeah, it's very risky. I mean, that could be, yeah, I don't want to take too much away from this call, but that could be a whole nother like talk and conversation. But yeah, it's very risky for them. So it's hard to find somebody to take that on. You kind of have a build relationship. This is my first business. I had another business. I owned a touring company. I own laundromats in New York. So I have a list of people who have excess of money and they just want to make money on their money. So
okay?
it's through personal relationships. It's not
Oh,
like I
okay.
found them on. Yeah, it's not like I found them on a website, or they have, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, Len, like if you got to the point where the customer, you basically got a yes out of the customer, right? Because if you're pulling credit, then they said yes to you and they said yes to the job. Now it's just them against the bank. So, whether their credit score starts with a 5, 6, 7, or 8, not something that you can really get until you get to that stage, right? But the fact that you got to that stage and then you get a credit turned down, like Willie, when he was running his sales team, he'll tell you that he counted that as a yes and he counted that as a win. And that's kind of like once you start to adapt this mentality of like, I'm no longer a contractor, I'm really a salesperson, you just realize this is part of the game.
Right.
Because that is actually something that's outside your control. And there's really no way that you could, it's because it's illegal to ask for the credit score ahead of time, right? You just can't do it. I mean, there's laws against it. So, but if you're getting to that point, then they're really, I mean, you're building a value to where they actually want to move forward with you.
Okay.
And you're doing that, it sounds like face to face inside the home, right? You're walking through the process.
Oh yeah. So after we do everything, like like August said, I'll get the contract out and we'll put the numbers down. We sign it and then ask them how they're gonna fund this, and they said, well, we'll do financing. So we put them through the credit app, or which is I just send it right to their phones. They fill it out in private,
Mhm.
and I get an alert that says they filled it out. But then I also get an alert even before they do that, either that whether if they got turned down or approved. And unfortunately, most of the time they get turned down. So then they'll come back. By the time I come back inside or whatever, they'll let me know, oh, I got turned down. So then we start looking for other ways to get the money. But if we don't find the money that night or that day, uh, it's tough to get back into our house. It's tough to get them back on the line.
Yeah. But interesting. So you're saying when you get back in the house, so they're filling the application privately?
No, when I say that, I mean I say, well, I'll leave you to it. I got to make a call, and I go to my truck,
Hmm.
and they're inside filling out the application or talking over with the husband or whatever. And then I come back in 5 minutes because I'll see if they got turned down or approved on my phone. Um, but when I come back inside, it's you know, and they didn't get approved. What I'm saying is after that night, it's tough to get back in front of them to get
Yeah, it would
it.
be, right? But you still you still got a yes out of them. So you did
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
by
yeah.
yes.
I get yeses. I get, approvals. Um, I'll get approvals and I'll get yeses. It's just I can't get the money.
Mhm. Well, interesting that you go to the truck and make a pretend phone call because
Yeah,
that's kind of one of the older tricks in the book. I'm curious what August has to say because we can talk about objection handling now. Because sometimes you find those customers because I mean you shouldn't be taking the appointment unless the husband and wife are at the house, right? That's like the first thing.
right.
So when you are setting the appointment, you're calling these leads. You're like, and if it's Stacy, right, cool. Like, and then anyone else that you feel like would have a say in terms of how the final kitchen would look. Like, do you have any husband, anybody else at home? And you just kind of phrase it in their best interest to have both people there. So you shouldn't be going through this whole presentation if only one person's there, because like for sure that, I mean, it's a large buying decision. They're just not going to be able to do it. It's like so, but if they're both there and they're saying, I'm curious what August would have to say if I put you on the spot here. They're like, I mean, imagine you get all the way to the end of the presentation. They're about to say that they want to get the project done, and then you get something like a total curveball. Let me think about it, right? Or just give us a day. I want to talk things over with my wife privately. I want to talk things over with my husband privately, and then we can get back to you tomorrow with the final decision. I'm sure that's happened to you all the time, especially when you were a loan officer, right? So I have
Yeah,
my own ideas. I know what Willie
yeah,
does, but what do you say?
yeah. That sounds great. I love that you guys talk together. It would be a bad relationship if you didn't. I think you'd be sleeping on the couch. Ha ha ha. See, now I'm back in.
Hmm.
It's like go back to close. I lighten it. I go back to close. So whatever you're about to say, I'm going around that kind of like any president or politician does. Go around that. Never mind the no. Okay, that sounds great. Reassure them that that's a great idea. Keep it up. Keep the momentum up. Keep the energy up. I would do that too, and then make a little nice side joke. And then they laugh, and you go right back to the close. And so, going right back to the close could be anything, feel, felt, found. You can feel, felt, found. You can use any other template of strategy to go back to close. But the thing is that you got to get back to the close. Try it 3 times. That's my rule. Try it to avoid that block 3 times. By the third block, if they're still saying it again, submit to it, hit them back in 24 hours. That's my template. That's my strategy. Oh, okay, that sounds great. You and your wife need to talk about it. You probably wouldn't, it'd be a bad relationship if you didn't talk about major purchases. So
Yeah, and you literally turn into a joke. And we do have a dedicated
yeah,
module, so if you guys want more information on like what to say in this moment, I will check this exact video in the school community, which is the advanced part of the sales mastery course. This is like a 30-minute long, we did a deep dive that we went to in terms of everything that could be soft way of saying no, right? Which is like, let me think about it, let me talk to the wife,
right,
I want to sleep on it, let me pray on it. Because that's not, because that is not a no because this. Let me think about it is generic. And so you don't actually know what they're trying to think about.
right.
So the wrong way is to be like, okay, well, what do you want to think about? You just lost it. That's what a lot of guys that are old school that, because hard selling, that's really what it is, right? You just pressure, 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 go, 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 go.
Sounds like a Jersey response. Yeah, what do you need to think about, huh? Yeah, yeah,
But you're
yeah.
leaning way back, and that's literally what we teach our guys. So I mean, sales is sales, right? Once you know how to sell loans, you know how to sell construction.
Sales is sales. Yeah.
So you're literally laughing it off. So if you're at that moment where you're sitting down, husband and wife inside the home, let's talk things over. Great. If I love that you guys talk things over. I mean, it would be a horrible relationship if you didn't, right? I'm not here to put you on the couch, and they're gonna laugh, make some element of that.
Yep. There's a chuckle, and then you ask them what we went through some of your value points. So you want to basically go into head nodding questions, is what I say. We went over your value points. You wanted 16 lights, right? You want 3 lights over here. You want 3 lights. Just bring them back to value. That's all. Without going to be more concise, just bring them back to value. See if you missed anything, because you could have missed something. Maybe you were talking too much. That's another sales thing. Sales people talk too much. They don't know when to shut up. Actually, listen. Just listen to them, and just make sure you comb through their levels of importance. You told me even if they tell you your budget, say your budget's 25, we have this into 21. Um, the payment structure is 20, 25 or 30%, whatever it is to start. The 25%, if I would, and then you just start breaking it down, the value and where, like you just said, find out where's the cracks, just like you would in a foundation. Find out where's the cracks. What did you miss? What did you talk over? What did you not hear that they said? And just bring them back to value. Ask them yes questions. Then try to close again.
Mm-hmm. Ask for
If
the
they
yes.
say, yeah, ask them yes question. If they reject it again, go right back into it. Delay. Talk about something else. The weather. Blah 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 blah. Then go right back into the close. I do that about 2 or 3 times, and then I feel it out. And if they're genuine, you'll feel it that they're genuinely saying, just give me a minute. I like what you have to say. Really, everything does add up. I just need a little minute to sit with it. No problem. I'll give you a shout tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Don't ask them. I'm telling them. I'll give you a shout tomorrow at 9 o'clock, between like 9 and 10. Let's go over this again and just make sure that I heard your value points. Just to make sure that I heard exactly what you need and what you want to get done, so that we're both on the same page. Because the last thing you want to do is me to come in here and I thought that, oh, you didn't want to knock your house down? I thought you said demolish the house. Here we go laughing again. So, so
So here's what
just,
the best to condense
yeah,
everything down into like 2 sentences. Like what do the best sales reps in the entire world do in any industry?
mm,
They ask for the yes more than anyone else in a way that doesn't offend the customer. So the
right,
more ways you can ask for the yes without offending them, the more chances you have to close. And like this is
yeah,
proven across the board in construct. Like the more times you ask for, like, so do you want to get started in ways that don't offend them? Like, I mean, that's just logic, right? The more times you ask for a yes, the more likely they are to say yes. But then the trick, really, and then everything else that we're talking about is like, how do you do it in a way that doesn't offend them? So don't go old school. Well, what do y'all think about? Well, you guys are right here. You guys are together. You guys are together. What do you guys need to talk about? then you're offending them, then immediately the guard goes up.
Yeah, no, that what like with this guy, what I did was I just showed up the next day with the contract, told him sign here. I didn't ask him.
So if you're running into a brick wall, your backup method, your plan B is, and you're not asking them to show up. You're like, okay, I'll reach out to you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll like literally, I'll show up, I'll reach out to you tomorrow. I could be here between like 9 and 10. Does that work for you? Yeah, that works for me. And I'm showing up with a contract for you to sign. Like this guy that I closed, the first lead, I didn't ask him, hey, so you ready to go? What do you mean you are so you ready to go? You went online and you filled out a form, and here I am. So of course he's ready to go. That's a stupid question for me to ask. Like in my brain, that's what I'm saying. Of course the guy's ready to go. So I'm not going to ask him. I'm just going to build value, give him a contract to sign, and tell him give me the deposit in 2 days. I want to show you the work that I'm doing first. And I don't collect deposit in the beginning. Some people could do it, some people don't do it, but I never have a problem collecting money. So I'll give him it gives it a little bit more trust to say, I don't want your money right now. Put that in your pocket. Give me 48 hours of work, and then I'll take the deposit from there. That's what I did with him. So I showed him a contract and I gave him trust.
Yeah, but it goes back to like just asking for business again and again and again. How many times can you do it without offending them?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But don't ask is my thing. I think assume the sale, assume the close, write the contract, tell him sign here, and what you need for the deposit. What are you asking for? He or she has already written out the form, and they've taken the time to talk to you, and now you're standing in their house. Of course they want to do it. It's the question of what they want to do it with you. So don't ask that question as me. That's how I would do it. Don't ask it. Just put it together seamlessly, build value, and you got a yes or not. Put it in front of them. Tell them to sign right here.
Yeah, because nobody wants to invite a stranger to their home. Like, I don't know about you guys, but just 2 weeks ago, there was an issue in the kitchen. They had to tear down the wall because there was some sort of minor leak. And personally, I don't like strangers in my kitchen going around when it's me and my family, like engaging with that. Like, nobody invites people over because they just want numbers.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the popular girl at school. It's not like, it's not that they didn't go with you because they didn't get the job done. I mean, that might happen, right? But generally, they went with someone. So I kind of want to open it up now. So to kind of open Q&A, right? If anyone has like kind of any specific questions in terms of like the sales process, maybe even when it comes to financing, creative ways that you can close construction deals. If anyone has any questions for August or for me or anything for that matter. I saw somebody in the chat was talking about like some solar energy, some sort of financing that was not based on credit score, but was based on your ability to repay, which is pretty interesting. Solar
Yeah,
energy loan
it's
fund.
called self-financing. They finance based off of your income, basically your ability to repay your loan. You do put a down payment, you do pay interest, but it's not based off your credit, which is a lot of people's issues. They're not getting approved for loans, especially non-essential loans, because of their credit scores. But yeah, solar energy loan fund.org. I use them here in Florida. I'm out of Tampa Bay area. And we use them. They do pretty good. Synchrony Bank is also another good one. I'm not sure where they're based out of, headquartered, but our location is based up in just outside Orlando, Florida.
And it's working for you, Eddie.
It does work. It does work, especially for I service mostly the older population in the mobile home world, the seniors, and a lot of them are living on Social Security. So, generally they fill out, over time the application's filled out, which doesn't take long, 20, 30 minutes at the most. Usually the next day, if not 48 hours later, you have a solid answer from them. Like I say, it's all based off, do they have enough income to repay the loan? That's what they're concerned with.
Interesting. Because I didn't know that when we first spoke, you told me that you focused primarily on the mobile homes. I thought that was very interesting.
Right.
And immediately my first thought was, well, aren't those mostly retirees that don't really have any active income? Maybe they have a small retirement. They're
A lot
mostly on
of them
Social
have Social
Security.
Security.
Yeah, Social Security. And that's not, You know, nowadays it's not really enough to live on in most cases. So the fact that you're closing deals and that's what it might be a tool worth looking at.
Well, keep in mind also is that we're in a time frame right now to where most of our senior citizens, the upper 60s through their 70s, getting into their low 80s, are all veterans because of the Vietnam War and the draft and stuff. So because of the time frame, we play off of that, being that they have more income than just Social Security.
Got it. Yeah. So you can play on those veteran benefits. And that's actually pretty common in Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, there's tons of veterans, tons of old people, and tons of veterans in Florida.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess to kind of close things out, August, what would be kind of like maybe one closing thought for guys that, if you had to leave them with one thing, if you could go back to when you started your construction company and could tell yourself anything, maybe what would you tell yourself?
I tell myself, that's a good one. Have faith. Tomorrow is not today, and today is not tomorrow. Both positively and negatively. They're two different days, even though they might feel the same sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So just trust the process.
Trust the process, bro. Yeah. Keep grinding. Have some grit. Keep grinding. Keep going.
I agree with that. I just think you have to stay positive in your head. For me, when things get hard and you start thinking negatively, things slow down. You're not thinking clearly. But if you're thinking positive, moving forward, a lot of times that's what helps me. I gotta stay positive with it. People read people. People feel energy, and when you go in there and you're moping around and you're looking depressed and you don't know what the hell they assume you don't appear to know what's going on. They feed off of that and they run because you're asking them for their money at the end of the day, and they run quick as it can be. You got to make them feel secure. You got to make them feel like they can trust you, and those are just my experiences. Go with your head held high, your head up high, smile. Don't look like you're depressed and sad for yourself because no one else is.
I think every business owner, I mean, we're all business owners, right? And it can feel kind of lonely sometimes because we deal with problems, we deal with stress, and we deal with issues that 95% of the population doesn't understand, doesn't resonate with. Like how often are you guys, working on vacation or on a Saturday, or you're trying to, work on something that is very, very important for you, and then your friends are looking at you weird, like why don't you just wait until Monday? But you can't, and they just don't understand that fact. Happens all the time. And in business, it's usually those moments when things feel like, if you guys think about today to when you start your company, usually it's those moments when things are the most difficult, most challenging, and you feel like giving up, or you feel like there's this new skill you have to learn, and you can just see it's a lot of work. Those are usually the moments when you make the most progress.
Yeah.
At least for me, almost every single time when I'm like, man, this is difficult, and then that's where I have the biggest breakthroughs. Because in business, you can have, everyone's heard of like the downward spiral where things are going wrong, and that's just feeds on the energy. You just get more negative. There's also something called a positive spiral. You can have an upward spiral where, and that goes to August, like have faith in yourself. Today is not yesterday. Tomorrow's not today.
Yep.
But going into these calls and going into these appointments with the feeling that, man, like today's gonna be a great day. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna be excited. I'm gonna be confident. I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna make the customer feel comfortable with this decision. And I'm not going to leave the house without asking for business, knowing that I'm going to do a good job, and that that is the mentality that you guys need to have in these appointments. And August, I think that's what you guys, it's like once you have it, you just don't realize that's the mentality that you have going into it. You kind of got to force it in the beginning, right? It's kind of called fake it till you make it, right?
Fake it till you make it.
You gotta fake it in the beginning.
Yeah.
But
and hire what you don't know.
Definitely creates your latitude, man. Your attitude definitely will create your trajectory. So it really is, whatever happens within is going to happen externally. So you got it's that, as an entrepreneur, self-reflection is the pinnacle of all things that you could do good for yourself. Reflect on how you're treating people. Reflect on how you're treating yourself. and because that will spill over and it will duplicate. It will duplicate.
So I want everyone after this to go through this exact module on the course because this was really the crux of what August was talking about today, which was if you guys want the actual tactics and the meat and potatoes of today's call, this right here would summarize everything. The advanced, let me think about it, just talking about getting someone who's 99% of the way there over the edge in a way that actually makes them feel like they made a good decision and making sure the customer feels taken care of during the whole process. So I think this is homework for everyone. This video, I think it's like 10, 15 minutes long. It's going to make you guys more money. So apply what's in there. And I mean, apart from that, it's a Friday. So any last minute questions? Or for me, August?
Yeah, August, how are you pricing your jobs? Are you using handoff also, or are you doing a square footage prices? Like, how are you coming up, especially with insurance projects?
Yeah, I go old school, man. I do linear foot or square foot. I stick to that, and over the years, I've built my pricing competitively that way. But that's the template that I use. It's usually square footage. And I have a good understanding as to what a basement or deck would cost me per square foot, all the way down to even if they ask for an extra outlet, they want LED lighting below the deck. I have a good fair assessment what it costs me.
So like,
Uh,
if you're saying you have a good understanding of square footage, I just want to know like, what are you basing that on? Or is it like, like if I do a deck, if it's composite, I'll say $100 square foot. If it's just pressure treated, I'll say, $60 square foot or something like that.
oh, interesting. Yeah.
Like what are you like? How are you coming up
Yeah.
with that?
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's a good question because I learned this a long time ago and I forgot that I learned it. And I read and you know, I've just been doing it, but I forgot I learned it. I give people the pricing on labor and rough materials. So I'm a little different that way. You can buy your own Trex. I'm not trying to make money on your Trex. You just go buy it. I'm giving you the price of what it costs me to do the footing, all the labor that it takes to do that with the electrical. I know my Romex. I know how I'm going to have to run it. So I know all the rough and labor. Your decor, you could buy whatever Trex you want to buy. I do separate myself from other people that way. I have nothing to do with decor. It's the best thing I've ever done. I don't want to touch your decor. I'm not your personal shopper and I'm not your interior decorator. I literally build homes. I don't have time to talk about toilets. I could just tell you about where it fits, the measurement, and all the components of passing the inspection. What you do, yeah, I don't talk. Yeah, so that's I do differ.
So
That way.
when you give pricing on, let's say you're doing a basement, you're not including finishes,
No,
or
I'm doing the finishes of the labor, but not the actual finish. The cost of the tile or the cost of the whatever decor. I don't include that because it can kill my budget quickly if they say I want to do this vinyl flooring, and the vinyl flooring is $11 a square foot. Now I'm shot down. I'll give them an estimate of what it cost for decor, and that's separate from the actual numbers of doing the job. Yeah, I'll give them a number. Hey, based on their basement, this is 2,000 square feet. You should spend somewhere between $6,000 to $8,000, on finishings on the decor pieces down here. But I give that to them, and it's separate. It is not included in my price, and I make sure they know that. I am not your personal shopper. I'm not going out here telling you, because what happens also is that you take a picture of something at Home Depot or send them a link, and then you actually put it in. And then, oh, that brown? That's not the brown it looks like over here. Holy crap.
Yeah,
Okay.
August. My name is Marcus, man. I'm in
Hey,
New
Mark.
York. I
Oh, what's up?
feel that.
Yes, sir.
That's really true because I did a job way back, and the lady, she saw a cabinet that she want.
Right.
When I installed it, she said, because I bought it, she said, this is what I want. And I bought it. And when I installed it, she said, no, 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 no. I don't
That's
like
not
that.
it.
That's not what I want. That's what I want. And she just say, you don't see me?
See,
I'm a hot lady. You know, I'm a hot lady. You know, look at that. I don't want that. And I
right.
already bought it. So my mistake was bought it for her. And I would never, never do that again. Buy what you want and I install it. So
Get
I'm just
whatever you want.
respect that.
Yeah, they have to put some when they put some skin in the game. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
and that's the thing that there's a balance to it too, because you don't want them to sweat, because then it's like they feel like, oh my God, what did I hire a contractor for? You're not helping me with nothing. No, but there's a balance to it. It's like
Yeah.
a lady just had a designer. A designer. This is a different job that I'm on. Had a designer. The designer came into the place, designed a whole bathroom, 2 bathrooms for her, sold her 2 toilets. Mind you, this is in a tower. This is in a building, a very large building. And if you do any New York or New Jersey projects, you know that the drain for most of these buildings and these toilets are on the wall, not on the floor.
Yes, definitely. You have sub pump. You have sub pump.
It's
You have
it's it's
install a sub
common,
pump.
it's common knowledge, and you can see it. But this guy was so full of himself in the sales and stuck into the sales, he sold her 2 toilets for the floor. But then also tries to pin that on me. But I sent you the pictures of the decor. I said to her, I had a conversation with her. I had a conversation with him on a Zoom, or not a Zoom call, but on a shared line. And I said to them both, I said, ma'am, you know it's not in my contract. I don't deal with decor. You know that I said that to you since the beginning. Out of being a good contractor and out of being a good person, I'll help you, itemize maybe 1 or 2 things, but don't send me an Excel spreadsheet of all of your decor and ask me to verify if they're gonna fit. Otherwise, I should be getting paid what he's getting paid as the designer, and you should add that onto paying me. But we don't do that over here. I told you from the get-go, I set the president's perfectly what we do and how we do it and the whole form of what's going to happen. Now, he ordered the wrong toilet and sold you the wrong toilet, and you're asking me to pick up the toilets from the house and take it over to his warehouse? That's not happening. I'm sorry. Go over there and tell him to go do his job and do his job thoroughly and make sure that he's paying attention to what he's selling you. How about that? And that's what I said on the phone. And you have to respectfully sometimes put people in their place, because they don't
Yes,
know what
sir.
they're doing. They don't know
That's
what they're
true.
doing. And so, like I said, with decor, it becomes it could become a very stain-filled place if you don't set the boundaries on how it works. I'm going to pass all my rough inspections. I'm going to get you lined up by code and everything correctly. Whatever decor items, just have them shipped here, or if they need to be picked up, I'll pick them up from Home Depot as well. But that's about how far as I go. I don't give me your shopping list. Don't give me all the colors, because I'm not an interior decorator.
August. This is Ty. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Where are you located?
I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. I do work in Delaware and New Jersey and Philadelphia area, but I'm in California. I work in California as well, so I'm in California right
Awesome.
now.
That's
What
a lot
part,
of territory.
yeah, what part of New Jersey are you located?
We do north New Jersey, like the Bergen County area, and I go all the way down to I have another project in Asbury Park and Red Bank.
Oh,
So
okay. So I'm on the area.
we
Yeah.
go far down too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
I'm near Delaware. I just go in those areas just outside of Delaware.
just outside of Delaware. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I'm familiar. I've passed through there when I sometimes go to Atlantic City or go see my son's college basketball game, because he plays in Maryland.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
no, I don't. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
And you're in California?
Yeah, I live in California, but I'm from the East Coast, so I play on both sides of the field.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, I
That's
want to
awesome.
I want to exchange numbers with you, knowing that you're in New Jersey, so we'll have to connect for sure.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
You guys can exchange that on school, or you message each other.
Yeah,
or
I'm
on-
actually in South Jersey.
Oh, you're in South Jersey. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Oh,
'Cause
see, so
I
you near
just,
the territory where I don't go. Yeah, there you go.
yeah. I just jumped on, so I didn't get the intro. So, but it's good to see you guys all here and everyone's working and thriving. So that's a good thing.
And I hope that was help. So I think August was saying there, David, because he doesn't use handoff, but I think handoff is getting better and better. Anyone that ever comes to us and says, "Hey, I need help pricing things out," we just immediately tell them to go to handoff. If you guys haven't noticed how good AI is getting at everything,
Yeah.
right? AI can now create videos. AI can now create like literally, it can talk,
Everything.
right? It can be pretend
Yeah.
phone part, like it can be and it's also getting very good at estimates. And the AI can even now pull live labor costs, live material costs from what other guys are charging, from what Lowe's and Home Depot. It can literally just pull in that information directly onto your estimate, and you know exactly that the material costs are going to be accurate because it was updated that morning. It's
Yeah.
getting very, very good, very fast.
I love
So I
that.
think that what AI is going to do is it's going to lower the barrier to entry, because 20 years ago or even 5 years ago, you would probably trust a contractor that's been in this industry for 20, 30 years over someone that's 2 years in the business, and you would just assume that their numbers are going to be more accurate because they've been in the business longer. That's really no longer the case anymore,
Hmm.
because the AI kind of is creating a level playing field so that anyone can price things accurately.
Hmm.
So what's really in this new era of AI, where people can go on Google and they can get 10 different people to come over for free estimate. Contractors can go to handoff, put in the square footage, they can get an instant bid that's 5% accurate, down to a couple $100s. I think the main thing that will separate you guys is going to be how you treat people inside the home. So I keep going back to this. It's salesmanship, it's professionalism, it's showing up on time, it's being clean, and making sure the customer feels taken care of, and asking for the yes over and over again inside the home. So it's just a pattern of success that I'm seeing. Me as the owner of this company, Quote Magnet, working with a lot of guys, just consistently, the guys that are crushing and doing the most amount of revenue, they're also the most prepared inside the home in terms of their sales.
Yes,
They're not leaving that home without asking for business. And if they do get a yes, they're saying they're taking money right there. So we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon, but a sneak peek for next week, I'm bringing on a special guest that has a network of 30,000 subs around the country, has a nationwide construction company that operates in all 50 states. And I'm going to have a conversation with him live and basically on how to, if you guys ever have questions about managing subs, managing project managers, building a real team, it's going to be pretty advanced, but you guys can stay tuned for that one. But
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I need that one.
yeah, it'll be fun. But we're wrapping up now. So
Okay.
go out there, go crush it.
All right, thank you. Let's all stay
You guys know
connected.
where to
Thank you
message
so
me.
much.
Thank
So,
you, Nick. Thank you,
All
Nick. Very
Thank you,
helpful.
guys.
Marcus,
All right,
good to see you.
guys.
Very helpful. Very helpful. Thanks.
All right, see you guys. Bye.